Hello, everybody. Welcome to the live stream. Just getting ready here. We'll get started shortly. We'll get started shortly here. I hope you guys are all doing well. Let me know where you tuning in from. Put in the chat which city you're tuning in from today. I hope you guys are all doing well. That's which city you're tuning in from today. All right. Let me know where you guys are tuning in from. Put in the chat which city you're tuning in from today. Welcome to the live stream. Going to get started shortly here. Join the live chat. All right. So we have a jam-packed evening here today, jam-packed night here today. We'll get started shortly. Um, there's a lot of there's a lot of interesting setups and in the game plan today. So I'll share my screen here and then we could get started. Okay, let me get this to work here. All right, beautiful. So we'll get started here right away. So put in the chat where you tuning in from today so that we know where you tuning in from so that we can acknowledge that. And then we could get started here in a few minutes. Um excited about today's live stream. We are entering into a critical week for the market. And it's going to be interesting to see how the market reacts to the economic data that we're going to get for CPI and PPI this week. Okay, so we'll get started right away. All right. Good evening, everybody. I hope you are all doing well. I hope you guys all had a wonderful weekend. I also had a wonderful weekend as well. I was busy traveling, so I had to come back quickly to get this YouTube live here up and running. So I hope you guys also had a wonderful weekend. So last week was a very eventful week for those that are day traders and swing traders and whatnot. It was really jam-packed with a lot of action. So we saw the market gap down on Monday, and then afterwards, like we got the market recovering on that same day, and then we got some recovery, and then we got an interesting data coming on Friday, which was really interesting. So we'll go through all that shortly. So yeah, so without much ado, I'll get started. So my name is Richard J, and I'm the uh, head trader here at Trading Rich and co-founder as well. And I'm going to be showing you guys the game plan for the week, how I plan to make money for this week, and you can basically use the same strategies and the same game plan to also make money as well. So the purpose of this live stream is mainly to use the power of technical analysis to highlight and flag the key the key trade setups for the week, right? So that we can capitalize on them when the opening bell goes on Monday, right? So some of these trades are going to trigger right out of the gates on Monday. Some might trigger later in the week. Some might even trigger on Friday. You never know, who knows, right? So it's all about getting prepared and ready. So at Trading Rich, what we do is that we let the data and technical analysis do the talking, and we just execute, right? So we don't trade based on emotional feelings, based on hype, and based on what people are talking about on websites like Facebook and Instagram, Reddit, or even Twitter. So no, we don't do that. Or X, it's not called X, sorry. So we follow technical analysis, and the data presents itself, and we put the probabilities in our favor. So I'm going to go through a couple of things here. So we go through the market summary of what happened last week, and then from there we'll go into the next plan, which is going to be what are the economic catalysts that is going to move the market this week, because it's very important to know as a trader, as an investor, you have to know which catalyst or economic data is going to move the market in one direction or the other, right? So we have to plan and anticipate and figure out how this data is going to be based on when it comes out, how the market is going to react, and then we trade it accordingly. Okay. So we don't chase and follow all sort of hype and all that kind of stuff. No, we are very we are very meticulous in the way we do things. We have a system that we use, and we follow that system, win, loss, or draw. Okay. So here I'm going to share my screen here. Already shared my screen. I'll just go to the charts. I'll just go to the SPY. I'll quickly go to the SPY. Then we're going to go through what happened last week and how this week is shaping up for the upcoming trading week. Okay. So we're going to go through SPY. Let me get it. Let me load up the SPY chart here right now. Awesome. So we have SPY here. So on SPY, on Tuesday, sorry, we had a shorter week because we had the Labor Day weekend. So the week was a short one, and we just had only 4 trading days. So it started on here. This was Tuesday, right? This was Tuesday the 2nd. So on Tuesday after the Labor Day holiday, the market opened with a gap down. So gap down means that the market opened red, and it opened red, and it was lower price than the previous close, right? So we opened red here, but the market closed green. And on this day, those that trade with us in the live day trading room, I mentioned to them that the game plan was that, like usually when you get this big gap down, usually you get some kind of reaction whereby the institutions or the market makers try to trick retail traders. So what they do is that they cause the stock or the ETF to sell, and then that causes the retail trader or those that do not understand, have a system or have a strategy to trade, they start chasing. And immediately the chase is what they do, they reverse it on them, right? So I told members that, hey, at the open, this is what I expect. I expect the first move of the market to be down. And immediately it goes down. If we hold our pre-market low level, then it means that we are ready to go, and we are going to go long. And if we hold the pre-market low, we are going to go long, we are going to lean long, and we are going to stay long and close the day in a long trade. And guess what? What happened? On that day, we closed what? Green. It was a beautiful day. And that day, I didn't even, I was busy on an appointment, so I just had to trade the first 20 minutes with the team, and I left. And within 20 minutes, the easy money was gone, and we had finished the trades. And I gave members guidance on what to do, and they traded afterwards when I left. So So the thing is to have a game plan, always need to have a game plan. And based on the game plan, you execute on what you have, right? You execute and profit from it. Okay. So on Monday, we got a green day, even though it opened red, we got a green day. And then we gapped up. And then what do? We had 3 green days in a row. And then on Friday, what happened was that we got these job numbers, right? The job numbers came and the numbers looked like the numbers were a little bit um, higher than what was expected. So what happened was initially there was a quick reaction in the market. The market just did a quick dip, and then the market, the computers and the algos figured out, hey, you know what? This stuff here, it looks like it's not bad. It's not bad in number because it's not that bad, right? So I called it the Goldilocks numbers, right? So the numbers were not bad, but it was perfect. It was okay, right? Good enough to cause the market to reverse into green at pre-market when the news came. And then we went on when the market opened, they ended up selling. So that was institutional selling. So anytime you see those kind of selling, I'm going to show you in a chart very shortly. That shows like institutions are dumping and selling. Okay. And that day we also got uh, earnings the day before from Broadcom. So Broadcom is now one of the top 5 companies in the Nasdaq, and they delivered very good earnings, and it caused the stock to rally. So we've seen the same movie before, where we had a day where after FOMC, that was I think it was in July. The FOMC, we saw the market market has sold off because of Powell's comments, and then immediately after that we had Meta and Microsoft report their earnings and they beat expectation. Like it was a fantastic earning report. So it just shot the market up to new all-time highs. And then guess what? The following day, the market sold up. So we got a similar effect on Friday. So on Friday, if you've been following this channel for some time now, I have been flagging this trend line. Okay. So this trend line here is very critical to the SPY or even the SPS, the index. Okay. And if you're trading futures as well, mini futures, this trend line has been critical. So if you look at this closely, you are going to see that on Monday, what happened? On Tuesday, sorry, I always say Monday. I forgot there was a holiday. So here there was a Tuesday here. And what happened? This candle closed above that trend line, okay, or just on the trend line. And then on Wednesday, what did they do? They remounted it on the trend line again. And then Wednesday, we have that. And then Friday, what happened on Friday was very interesting because the market sold off, right? After the green gap up, like after green pre-market, the market sold off, the market opened after the first 20 minutes. And then where did it stop? The price bounced here at the trend line. So that means that this bottom trend line here of this wedge pattern here, sending wedge pattern here, is something that is very critical. So this is going to be our make or break line. Okay. This make or break line here, because you've seen that even though the market sold off on Tuesday, it closed above it and they remounted it. So we shall see how it plays out. So going into this week, I'm going to be watching this trend line closely. If we break the trend line, then we are going to come and test here. We are going to come to the 50 SMA on the daily. And then from there, we can figure out where price is going to go. But as long as they are not breaking below this, then it means that there's a chance for the bulls to break out and push this up and even break the upper trend line. So this trend line here is a multi-year trend line. And I've been showing this on the live stream for some time now. So here, this is the low of October 2023, and this is the low of August 5th, 2024. That was the Japanese carry trade market sell-off. And then here, this is the low of January 13th, 2025. And then what happened is the price went all the way here too. So if you extend it, this is a multi-year trend line, right? So if price is able to come here, it's not just going to break it in one try, like it's going to take a time. So what's going to happen is that when you have these wedge patterns, right? and you extend this like a triangle, right? You extend it, it forms like a triangle, okay? Once it gets here, it's like a pressure cooker, right? It's like a pressure cooker. So it just like you have your toothpaste and you're pressing the toothpaste, it gets to a point where the toothpaste is going to come out. If you press it so hard, it just that pop, it pops up, right? So it comes out. So here, this is like a pressure cooker, right? So it's going to go like this, go like that, go like that, and it can even come all the way to the tip here, the apex here. And then from there, it can decide to break to the upside or to the downside. Usually, ascending, these kind of ascending wedge patterns, right, typically tend to break to the downside. Right? Usually, the probabilities show that it's going to go in the downside, but anything is possible. It can just still break to the upside as well and break out from here if you get some good news or something like that, or the market, like we got a short squeeze, right? So every trader here, everybody that trades SPY or XPS or ES, I don't care what kind of S&P 500 product that you trade, you want to make sure that you have these trend lines on your chart, right? The longer the primary trend line, and this is our secondary trend line here. This one here, we are going to look at that and see what happens in the days and weeks ahead. Okay. Yeah. So so you see that price came all the way here, and then what did it do? It bounced, right? Okay. So what I'm going to watch is that let me see what the futures market is doing right now. Let me see the ES futures. Let me see what it's doing. Let's see if we are green or red. The last time I checked, it was red. So let's see if we are green now. Futures markets, ES, September contracts. Okay, so over here is showing that the today is showing green. It's already green. Okay, all right, that's cool. All right, so that means that the futures market is green at the moment. Okay. So let's go to the next ticker. So the next ticker that we are going to go through is we are going to check out. So now that we know what happened in the week, let's go and look at the economic catalyst that is going to move the market this week. So last week we got the jobs numbers, and then those job numbers. I mean, the funny thing that happened was that the Bureau of Labor Statistics website was not working before the data came out. So I didn't know what they were doing, right? So it wasn't working before the data came out. And when the data came out, the data was like Goldilocks numbers. It was okay. It was great to the point that it caused the Fed Watch website. If you go to the Fed Watch website, initially the Fed Watch website was saying that we were expecting at least 2 rate cuts this year before the end of the year, but that requirement jumped up to 3, right? That jumped up to 3 all of a sudden. So that tells me that the number was good to cause more to trigger more rate cuts, like 3 rate cuts. Then if that comes to pass, that means that we're going to get one in September. The one in September is for sure. That one is a foregone conclusion. It's going to be done, right? Then we may get another one in October and one in December. Then we are done for the year. Then next year there's going to be more data coming up, right? Like more rate cuts. So right now, the Fed Watch is telling us what 92% chance of interest rate cuts in September. And based on the numbers that we got, it's showing that the US labor market is softening, it's cracking, right? So I've been saying for almost 6 months, 7 months now that the only thing left that is holding the US economy right now is the labor market, right? Once it starts cracking, it takes time for it to crack. Once it starts cracking, we are going to see the effects, and that can even lead to a recession, right? The US economy is not in the recession yet, but it's getting there. Okay. So the last part of the thing is that once the jobless numbers a week start getting to 300,000 or more a week, then that means that the US economy is in a recession, right? And that could come any soon. But what was interesting is that for the first time since 2021, right, there are less jobs available than those looking for jobs, right? So it's not like those times where you can do job hopping, you can do work one place and then go to the other place, the jobs are not there. They're not creating more jobs, right? So that is also a problem for the economy. So with that in mind, it means that the Fed has no choice. They cannot postpone interest rate cuts in September. They don't have a choice. Right now, their hands are tied, right? Because based on the data that we are getting, it shows that the labor market is weakening and the economy is weakening, right? So it means that they have to come in and start cutting interest rates. So there have been probabilities and rumors and stuff that there was going to be 25 basis points interest rate cut in September, but now it looks like it's going to be 50 basis points, right? 50 basis points mainly means that it's 0.5%, right? Or if they say 25 basis point, it's 0.25% interest rate cut. So if that's the case, and usually historically, anytime the Fed has started cutting interest rate, majority of the time it leads to a recession, right? It means that the economy is weakening and it leads to a recession. We shall see what happens this time. But again, based on the data, it means that recession might be coming soon. And then I follow the business cycle, and the business cycle is showing clearly that we are getting there. We are not there yet, but we are getting there. It's headed in the direction of a recession. So I believe that by the end of this year, it's going to be declared that the US economy is in a recession, right? Recession is not a good thing. I don't wish that for anybody or anything like that, any economy, but I'm just stating the facts, right? So here we state the facts and the data, right? No like emotional stuff here. So as they say, don't shoot the messenger, right? I'm here to deliver the message based on what I see, based on the data. Okay. All right. So let's look at, so we have here, we have like 92% cut now. Then the next thing that I'm going to watch is the what are the catalysts for the week. So this week we are going to get inflation data. So the inflation data is going to be very important, right? We are going to get CPI inflation, consumer price index, like the cost of goods and services, what inflation, whether the inflation is going up or not. I think that when it comes to CPI, the CPI is not going to be a big deal. The CPI will fall in line with expectation. The place that the problem is going to come is the PPI, because last time we saw that the PPI has risen, like the numbers is going up, PPI is going up now, which is problematic because eventually, because PPI is producer price index, so like companies and stuff when they go get wholesale things and use it for manufacturing and producing stuff, and they deliver it to the consumer, they are facing inflationary pressures due to the tariffs and other things, but it's not been translated to the consumer. So at some point, this is going to show up on the consumer price index as well, right? Which is going to cause inflation to go up. So right now, the US economy, the inflation level is 3.1%. And it's been tough to break this 3.1% and go lower. Every time it goes to 2.9, it pops back up to 3.1% or 3%. We shall see what this number brings. So Monday we have consumer credits. That's at 3 p.m. That's not going to be any big deal. And then Tuesday, NFIB optimism index. That's not a big deal. The main events for this week is going to be Wednesday, Thursday, right? So on Wednesday we have core producer price index, which is very, very important. And again, I've explained that already. That's going to affect like things to do with, this is going to affect businesses and this is going to affect consumers. This one, I think, is going to come in line or is going to be better and is going to beat, right? This is where the problem is going to come here. This, I think, is going to come in elevated. We are going to see how what happens, and we can those that I trade with, the day traders, we are going to trade it accordingly when the data is out. Okay, and then on Friday we are going to get the usual consumer sentiment number at 10 a.m. Eastern. So these are the key catalysts for the week. And then this is going to inform the PPI and CPI numbers. It's going to inform the first decision in the FOMC the following week. That's going to be September 17th. So the market is already pricing in that at the FOMC meeting on September 17th, Powell, the federal chair, of the U.S. Fed is going to announce that in their statement that they are going to cut interest rate. So we don't know whether it's going to be 25. 25 is more likely, but 50%, 50 basis points have been floated. So we'll see what happens to that once the FOMC happens on that day. Okay. So cutting of interest rate has implications, right? That's going to be how all interest rate sensitive stocks to do well. So any stock that is interest rate sensitive, like solar sector, solar stocks, stocks like stocks in the electric car industry, like Tesla and stuff, all those stocks are going to do well because they are interest rate sensitive stocks. And then biotech stocks are also going to do well because they tend to rely on, like they do well, they are interest rate sensitive stocks as well. And also, like anything that has any kind of like stocks like buy now sell later stocks like Affirm, Upstart, those companies are also going to benefit from the interest rate cut. And above all, small caps, right? The small caps, which is all the stocks listed in the Russell 2000, are also going to do well as well. So those are areas where you're going to watch. So if this inflation number comes in favorable, that means that the Fed is going to cut. I don't think that even if it comes in hot, the Fed is not going to change their decision. I think they're going to go ahead and cut interest rate unless something catastrophic happens, right? So with that in mind, it means that if the CPI comes in and is good, that will mean that there's a sure certainty that there's going to be interest rate cuts in September, and there might be more. And if that happens, then interest rate sensitive stocks are going to rally. They are going to do well on that day when they cut interest rates. Okay. Right. So now that we know the catalyst that is going to move the market, let's talk about the game plan. How are we going to make money this week? Like, what's the game plan? Say, hey, okay, Richie, you've told me all this stuff. What is the way we can make money this week? So I'm going to present that here right now. So take your notebooks. If you don't have your notebook already, make sure you're taking notes and getting all the information here. So I'll start with, I've already talked about the SPY. So I'm going to talk about the QQQ. Okay. So QQQ, that's the tech heavy ETF or the ETF that tracks the tech stock QQQ. So QQQ has been, so I presented this here several times, this parallel channel, and it's working beautifully so far. Okay. So what we had on Tuesday was, okay, we gap down, and then what, we closed above the 50 EMA on the daily, right? Or 50 SMA on the daily, right? And then what happened was that what the price do? Price went and gapped up above this parallel channel, okay? Because that has been the pattern so far, right? That has been the trend. So when he lost it, it went back there. So what happened on Friday was, even though the market sold off, it still closed what, above this parallel channel. So it's very, very powerful channel. So you want to have that on your chart. So if you are a QQQ trader, a Nasdaq futures trader, if you are a NDX options trader or QQQ trader, you must have this on your chart because this is what is going to determine the make or break of the market, right? So if price goes up and pushes to this area, once it gets here, we've seen that anytime it gets here, what, price sells off, okay? And if we break again to the downside, we might come down here again and we'll possibly break below this red simple moving average 50. So you're going to watch this closely. So this week, what I'm looking at is that with the futures market showing green, what we are looking at is that we're going to see a push here. We are going to stay a push here. As long as we don't break this, that means that this has room to push. And then we push for Monday, anticipating some kind of good inflation number. And then PPI will come. If it's good, the market will continue rallying. If it's bad, we might get like a pullback, and then we wait for CPI. If CPI is good, then it's going to cause the market to rally as well. So those are the things that I'm going to be watching this week and seeing how things are going to play out. Okay. The next ticker I'm going to talk about is I'm going to talk about IWM. So IWM is very critical in the interest rate fight, right? Interest rate cut fight. I call it interest rate cut fight with the Fed and the president. So here we have IWM as a interest rate sensitive index. Okay, IWM. So IWM here, you can see IWM has been trying to push to get to all-time highs. Okay. So a couple of weeks ago, in our live stream, I flagged this bull flag here. See this? What happened? We got a break above it, right? So now we've been trading this way. So here, this here is your flagpole. This has been a flag, right? A long consolidation flag. So now we are breaking above it. So on Monday or whenever this week, if we're able to break above this 238 level, then this has room to come to 242 and 245. I believe 245 is the all-time highs. So I believe that from now to the time that they cut interest rates on September 17th, IWM will finally make all-time highs or new all-time highs, because that's the only ETF so far that hasn't hit all-time high or touched its previous all-time high. So here, the previous all-time highs was when? Let's see. This was in November 2024. Is it? Yeah, November 2024. That was the previous all-time highs. And we came all the way here. So this time around, I think once we get there, it's going to break and make new all-time highs. So that means that if the IWM is doing well, then it's going to also impact the small caps in a positive way. So small cap stocks is going to send them rallying as well. Okay. Then the next ticker I'm going to look at is Bitcoin. Okay. So crypto has been selling, like Bitcoin has been selling up. So I believe that it's at a point where it's about to reverse. Okay. Let's look at it together here. Hopefully I can find this. Okay. So here we have what I call a falling wedge pattern, right? And this falling wedge pattern is usually bullish. So if you came all the way down here, what is it doing? It's basing here, right? So this looks like an inverse head and shoulders pattern. If price is able to break above this level, that is 111,410, we are going to see a breakout from this falling wedge pattern and push, right? So you can see Bitcoin pushing to here, 113,600, and then from there you can go to 117. Okay, so that is something that I'm going to be watching. So if I'm going to be watching that, I'm also going to be watching crypto related stocks or crypto sensitive stocks, stocks that they move based on the price of Bitcoin. If Bitcoin rallies, they rally. If Bitcoin sells, they sell. Okay, so that will be a good segue to take me to my first ticker of the day, right? Which is a crypto related ticker, which is MSTR. MSTR. MSTR, I've not traded in a while, but I think that MSTR is setting up for a nice trade. MSTR is setting up for a nice trade. Let's go to the chart here and see what's happening there. So with MSTR, MSTR has been selling. Like this stock has just been selling. It's not even these days, it's not even really following Bitcoin much, but the fact that Bitcoin has reversed, and this also has reversed. Bitcoin has sold off, and this once has sold off, I think that is going to coincide with the rally of Bitcoin. If Bitcoin rallies, it's going to rally. So if you look at here, this downsloping trend line, right? If you also add the RSI to it, you're going to see this is going to give you a bullish divergence, right? So you see here, price came here, it bounced. Price came here, we went up, and price is coming here now. So if we're able to hold, we don't break below here, this level is going to be like if you're taking this trade, you can put your stop here below this 318. So give it some room. Don't be too rigid on it. Give it some room. Give it to 319 or 320. Allow it to play out, because MSCR is a volatile stock. So sometimes they can push it down and they're going to suck it up and push it. Okay. So with MSCR, if Bitcoin is strong this week, MSCR is going to do well. So I like what I see here with MSCR. I believe that MSCR could be trading at 357, close to 200 by the end of the week. If inflation data comes in good and the economic data is good, we are going to get that rally. But if not, we are going to get sell. Market is going to sell, and this is going to sell. It's going to affect Bitcoin as well. So here, this one is based on Bitcoin solely. So here, there's something that I see here. So those that have gone through our course, they know this. So this year, the reason why this sold off is that it formed a head and shoulders pattern, that caused this to sell, right? And Bitcoin too was selling as well. So this sold off. So I like MSTR longs for this week. Or if we break this, we are going to short it to the downside and capture the downward move, right? But it must hold there because if it loses this, it's going to dump heavily with a long bearish engulfing candle closing. Okay, so here I see this as a good setup for a long. If you can afford MSTR, you can get the leverage ETF, MST. I think it's MSTU, if I'm not mistaken. MS MSTU. This one I see here, MSTU. So as a leverage ETF, because this one, the option contracts are really expensive. Like you're talking about $3,000, $4,000 per contract. Like it makes no sense. So here, this year you can buy this. This $4 right now. You can get it for cheap and buy the options and trade this accordingly. Okay. All right. Okay. So the next ticker I have is next ticker I have online here is on deck here is I've seen that there's been a sector rotation going on where investors are moving, the smart money are moving money from tech stocks that they made lots of money from, which I'm going to show you a couple of them. And then they are moving into healthcare stocks. Okay. So one healthcare stock that I think is going to do well this week and the weeks ahead is UNH. UNH. So UNH is ready to do great things. And if you're following this live stream for a while, you know that we've been long UNH for the longest time. We were long UNH. We bought it here at the low. Yeah. I alerted it to the mastermind group and those that are in our community. They all got the alert and then they executed. So here we have, so far we've had UNH move from here to this area, which is what? Which is how many percent? Trying to get a percentage here. Let's see here. It's what's it? From here to here is about 30%, 30% more or less, right? Move. So now what I see here is that if UNH is able to break above this area, see here, is able to break above, if it gets to 226, if we can get to 226, that would be great. But then before 226, it needs to battle it out here and crack this resistance level. Once it's able to crack this resistance level, we are going to see this push. Like above 318, UNH is going to push and it's going to come to the 100 SMA. And then from there, we can dream to fill this gap. So there's a gap fill here, which I think that in the couple weeks ahead, we are going to get this gap to be filled. So I like UNH long for a possible breakout this week. And then we can see it push to see if we can fill the gap in the future. Okay. So UNH is one of them. And if you can afford UNH longs, like call options, you can get the UNHG. Like that's going to give you the leverage ETF, which is at a low cost. And you can still make the same kind of money from it. But that's a double leverage ETF, meaning that anytime UNH goes up by 1%, this one goes up by 2%. Okay. And another one that I'm going to be watching as well for an interest rate sensitive ETF is going to be the biotech ETF, SBI. So for those in our community, trading rich community, I flagged XBI to them like a long time ago. And over here, this is the chart. All right, this one here. So this is an interesting chart in the sense that if you go to the weekly time frame, you are going to see that this stuff here, anytime it comes to this area, it bounces, right? It has been bouncing, bouncing, bouncing. So here, I drew this trend line here, this trend line here. This was this is a trend line from 2021. We finally broke it last week. So anytime you break a multi-year trend line like this, it leads to what is called a weekly squeeze, right? Weekly squeezes can last for several weeks and months, right? So here, this with interest rate cuts coming in on September 17th, don't be surprised to see this at 104 or 104 plus. And immediately it crosses 104.62, it's just going to rip. It's just going to push. It can push all the way to this area. So you want to be positioned to capitalize on this move when it rallies, because SBI is like a biotech ETF, and biotech ETFs are also interest rate sensitive ETF. So the stocks listed there are interest rate sensitive. Okay. Next ticker I have in mind is I like what I see on JD. JD is a Chinese stock. So those in our swing trading service, we already have a position on JD. Had it for a while now, and so far is doing what we are looking for it to do. So we got a green week last week on JD, and I believe JD has room to break out. Like it's been lagging behind for some time now, lagging its peers in the Chinese stocks. Baba has broken out, Baidu has broken out, but JD is always slow, right? So what I see JD doing is that I'm expecting JD to finally break above this 50 SMA. And then once it does that, that's going to be a big milestone. And then from there, it can break above this trend line, this downsloping trend line. It can break above it. But for now, it's just in this holding pattern, consolidating, gapping up, gapping down, that kind of thing. That's a typical Chinese stock behavior, right? So we shall see how it works out this week. If it gives us the breakout above the 50, then this is going to go. Okay. So JD is one of them. Another stock that I'm going to be watching as well is Microsoft. So again, this is a typical example of the smart money moving money from the tech stocks that they've made lots of money, a fortune from, into other sectors, right? So that they can capitalize on the next big move. Okay. So here we have Microsoft. So those that have been attending my live streams, you remember very well that I talked about this trend line here on Microsoft, right? And I said that this trend line has held for several weeks. Look at that. This is from uh May 1st, like 1st May, and it held all throughout. And then this was the earnings report here. This was when they reported after FOMC, I believe is this. That was, yeah, this was in July, right? And what did you do? They sold off, right? So all the gains was even 10 red on that day. And I said several times that immediately we break this trend line, this upsloping trend line here, this is going to sell off, and this is what we've seen so far. This has sold off for the last couple of days here. And now what's happening is that we are coming down here to a critical level. So I believe that Microsoft still has more downside because Friday's candle is what I call a clearing bearish engulfing candle. So those that have taken our course and are in our mastermind group, this candle here has engulfed price action for like 10 days or more. Okay. So anytime you have a clearing bearish engulfing candle, you typically get more follow through to the downside. Okay. like it gives you 90% probability that we are going to head down. So we might get maybe a small red day or even a big one. We flash down, hit this 100. If it hits the 100 SMA and it holds, I'm going to look to go along there. But here, I can short this to this target and sell. Okay. So Microsoft still showing more downside. If it's not rescued this week, it's going to come here, and then from here, there's going to be a bounce there at 100. I believe it's going to get a bounce there because it's been selling for some time now. Okay. Alrighty. Next one again, where you're seeing that the smart money are moving money from tech to other sectors is Palantir. Hi, Palantir. So Palantir, we traded Palantir nicely. In a swing trade, we captured the move before the craziness, right? We captured a long trade on this before the crazy consolidation. So this has been consolidating for a while. Okay. So if you look at Palantir here, this was Tuesday, right? Got this move on Tuesday. It was a beautiful green trade. And then it went on its consolidation spree. It's still consolidating for how many days? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 days. And the interesting thing is that all throughout that time, it held above the 50 SMA, but this time we closed below it. We closed below it here, and we closed below it on this day. That means that there's been a structural change. Okay. So in order for us to be long on this, we need the daily candle to close above the 50 SMA and possibly engulf all these candles. If you get a bullish engulfing candle, this thing is going to push up and go back to all-time highs. But if not, it's going to sell and sell into this area or even come here to the nearest support. So either here or there. Okay. So Palantir for now is showing is leaning like this, like a bear flag. It's like a flagpole. This is your bear flag, right? So it's leaning more bearish than bullish. I'll be bullish in this if price is able to gap up above all the moving averages and then push, right? At least a bullish engulfing candle engulfing these candles here will do the job. Then it can get us to more green candles. So I'm going to be watching this closely to see what happens in the days and weeks ahead here. Then we can capitalize on the move before it takes off. Okay. Right. So now that we have this one, we have the Palantir, which is I'm leaning short on this. So Palantir, Microsoft, they are all lean short, but again, they can change. So as a trader, you always have to go in with a game plan of a long trade plan and a short trade plan and execute on it whenever, whichever one sets up. You don't have to go into the market with a buyer saying, oh, I'm only looking for longs, right? What if the short shows up? What are you going to do? Are you not going to trade? So you can have a game plan which is comprehensive that covers long and short trade plan. Okay. Then the next sticker I have on radar here is now that we've talked about these, we also want to talk about so AVGO. Yeah, before I forget, AVGO. AVGO had very great earnings, right? The earnings was Wall Street loved it and it rallied significantly, right? But what they did was that after it rallied, they candle closed red. It closed red. So it's like, buy the rumor, sell the news kind of thing. So here I'm seeing this interesting trend line here. Actually, that's the place where AVGO came. This is the weekly time frame. AVGO came and then sold off, started selling off on Friday. So here you see here, this is a trend line from here. Which date is this? This is June 2024. And then it touches here, December 2024. And then where are we now here? So as long as if we break above this trend, upsloping trend line, which is a weekly upsloping trend line, then it's going to break out and go. But as long as it stays here, it's vulnerable to a pullback, right? A pullback, and it might lead to a massive sell-off later, right? But right now, a pullback is imminent. If you look at the daily chart, you can clearly see that this here is coming down, right? So now what needs to happen is that I expect this to fill this gap. So in a day trading or swing trading sense, I'm looking for this gap fill. Yeah, I'm looking for this gap fill. Yeah, for this gap fill. Yeah, this one. So this is where I'm going to look for a gap fill. And then once it comes there, it can bounce from there. Okay. So when you have these kinds of things, they always want to fill the gap first before the next move. Or the next move might come and just rally and go. So we shall see how that plays out. But in terms of day trading setups or even a quick swing trading setup, I like this gap fill trade. Okay. Gap fill trade. At least it can give you this is yeah, it can give you like 20 points. Right? It can give you 20 points move, more than 20 points move in this. Right, more than 20 points move. And then this can be profit targets, this area here, this one. So here you have this low here, and this area here can be your first profit target. And then next profit target is going to be your gap fill. Okay, so AVGO is also short earlier on to get a gap fill. And then once we get a gap fill, we flip and see if buy stepping, we go long. And then now we are going to come and target here now. We are going to target here a break of this. Okay, so this pullback is just a pullback for a resting period for it to go back up and then try to crack this multi-year trend line. Okay, so trend lines are very important. So as I say, the trend follow the friend, follow the trend is your friend, and follow the trend till the end. Okay, so here the trend is telling us that okay, it hits a critical resistance trend line level, and then what did it do? It sold off from there. We shall see what happens in the days and weeks ahead. Okay. All right. So now that we have these in place, let's look at another healthcare stock that we already have. We have already been swinging this. So again, if you are not in the swing trading service, I don't know what you're waiting for. You are leaving money on the table, right? Because every week we have these uh, uh, high probability setups that we trade. So with this, um, we entered in and we added to this position here, and we captured this move. So we are long. We've been long from here to here, and that's like almost 20% move. 20% move on the equity, right? And the options, hundreds of percent, right? So right now, what we are looking at is that we're looking for that breakout, right? We're looking for that breakout for this to push above the white line and then above the red line here and then go, right? Push and go. So if you get a gap up tomorrow, that's going to be nice, and we are going to get that push to the upside. So again, what's the reason why we took this trade? So again, the game plan here was pattern recognition. Okay, this is what I like about technical analysis, right? There's no like confusion or hype or anything like that, right? You look at it and say, okay, what happened in the past might happen again, and we are seeing this happen right here in front of us. So here, if you look at this, so watch the yellow line. Forget about all the other lines. Watch this yellow line. This yellow line is your 200-day simple moving average, right? Is the mother of all moving averages. That's what I call it, right? So here we see that every time that HIMS came to this yellow line area, what did he do? He bounced, he pushed, right? The last time he came here, what did he do? He also pushed up, right? He pushed up. So actually here we had a live at that time we were using Zoom. We had a live Zoom call, uh, weekly watch list Zoom call. And on that day, I flagged that this was HIMS was ready to go, right? It held the 200 area, this is a zone. It held this area and it was ready to go. And then guess what it did? This was a Monday. From that Monday, we did it on a Sunday. So at the time it was only the Friday data. So from that Monday to where it went to the highs was what? This was a spectacular trade, right? It did what? 100 and what percent? It like 100 and almost more than 100%, like 110 30% move. Just on the equity. This is not even options, right? So if you trade options with it, you can get thousands of percent in this move alone with the swing trade. So over here, we are looking for such a move in HIMS. Because it's done it before, if we can get this to push and come here to fill this wick fill, or this area here, that's going to be pretty awesome, right? Or if it comes to this highs, that's going to be nice. So this has legs based on what is done in the past. It's going to do the same again and it's going to push. If it comes down and breaks and closes below here and has a continuation to the downside, then the trade is null and void. So if we lose the 200 SMA, then the trade is null and void, right? The last time we got a break below the 200 here, it was just about 2 points, right? So I give or take 2 points. You should not be scared. Just hold, and then it's going to work out. So this is what we got here. We got this. It came dead nuts. It came to the 200, and what did it do? It bounced there. So I expect continuation to come in the weeks and days ahead. Okay. All right. So let's also talk about small caps. Okay. So there are some small caps. So if the Russell 2000 is going to make new all-time highs, then we need to talk about the small caps that might move with it. Okay. So let's check one. So one of them that we also been swing trading as well is Open. Open. We've been swing trading this, and members printed on this, traded it several times. So Open is one of them. So Open here, let's see. Let me go to the main chart that I used at the time. So Open. So Open here, we caught this like this breakout from this trend line here. Sorry, this looks messy, but yeah, we had this push here. We caught this move, right? Caught this move. So this was a place where we're looking to take profit, 667. And above this 667 here, this thing is going to go to $10, right? Open above 667. It has room to come all the way to this area. $8, then it can push to $10. So watch Open very well. Open can be a good one for this week if we get a breakout in the stock and also in the IWM. Okay. So Open is a good one. Next, the other small cap stock I have as well is let's see here, what do I have? Soundhound. 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 So this stock here in July, we had a beautiful swing trade on it, and it printed nicely. So it's ready to go again. It's ready to rumble, right? It's ready to rumble again. Okay. So here, what I see here, so we've gotten okay. So here you see that this anytime it comes to the 200 area or this 100 area, it holds it, right? It came to this 200 and the 50 area, it held it, and what did it do? It curved up, right? So it's calling up. So with that in mind, we are going to see that this, let me take off these lines I have here, make it neat and nice for you guys. So Soundhound, okay. For now, we want to target this $17 level. However, if you break above the $17 level, this has room to come. I even go all the way to all-time highs. Is that all-time highs? Let me see. Yeah, it can come all the way to its all-time highs, which is at $24. It's above $24 just a little bit. Let's put it here. So it's about 25.42. Okay. So above this level, this is going to squeeze and it can go to all-time highs and possibly make new all-time highs. Okay. So right now, what I'm looking at this is that I'm going to look at, so I'm going to draw a simple trend line, okay? Connecting two pivot points, right? So in order to draw a trend line, you need a minimum of 2 pivot points, right? To act. So act as, so here we have 2 pivot points here. 2 pivot points. So here we have 2 pivot points here. 2 pivot points. So here we have 2 pivot points here. 2 pivot points. So here we have 2 pivot points here. 2 pivot points. So here we have 2 pivot points here. 2 pivot points. So here we have 2 pivot points here. 2 pivot points. So here we have 2 pivot points here. 2 pivot points. So here we have 2 pivot points here. 2 pivot points. So here we have 2 pivot points here. 2 pivot points. So here we have 2 pivot points here. 2 pivot points. So here we have 2 pivot points here. 2 pivot points. So here we have 2 pivot points here. 2 pivot points. So here we have 2 pivot points here. 2 pivot points. So here we have 2 pivot points here. 2 pivot points. So here we have 2 pivot points here. 2 pivot points. So which is looking beautiful, ready to rip, right? I like this stuff, right? I like the way the trend line is setting up like that. It's like it's ready to explode. Okay. So make sure you have this on your charts and watch it. Set alert, set because you can monitor many stocks. So what I do is that I set alert on my TC2000 or my Yahoo Finance, and when it triggers, I know what the trade plan is already. When it triggers, anywhere that I am, I can be having a business meeting with a client or whatever it is. Immediately the alert goes off, I'll just go and execute, right? I know what is the alert is about. I go and execute. So you don't need to be watching a stock 24/7 to see when it breaks or it does something. And that way too, it helps you not to miss a trade that you wanted to take. Okay. So here, I like what I see on sound, right? Soundhound. I like what I see. We got this. Let's see what this is here. What's level we get here in this? Okay. So for now, for this week, if we're able to break above this level, 14.45, then we can push to the $17 level. It's not going to be straightforward. It's going to have some obstacles, but I think it has the ability to do so with IWM pushing up and stuff like that. This can work out well. So again, you want to buy time on this. If you want to swing trade this, you want to buy time at least 2 weeks out, 1 month out, allow it to play out. Because with small caps, they are prone to collapsing. You can get a rally and then it collapses after a day or two. And that's why it's good for you to buy time. So if you buy time and for some reason it goes against you and you are not able to sell, you can hold it as long as the trade is valid and it's going to recover. Okay. So here, what I'm seeing with Soundhound is that if we're able to break above this level here, 14.45, then it's going to push. And then if we crack this trend line, the downsloping trend line, we are going to get a squeeze. So you want to be part of the move, right? You want to be prepared. That is what this is about. It's about preparation because we are competing with very smart people on Wall Street, and we need to be ready. We need to be ready and organized, ready to execute, right? So here, this is this is forming what looks like a cup and handle. So you see your cup here, and this is going to form a handle that can break out. It can break out and then retest the 17 level and then go. So Soundhound is a good one. $15 calls or $17, 18, $16 calls expiring end of the month or expiring in October should get a job done. October 17th should be able to help you get a job done there. Then that way you capture 2 interest rate cuts if they go ahead and do so. Okay. So Soundhound is a good one. And yeah, so I think I've covered everything here. And last but not the least is Robinhood was added to the S&P 500 on Friday. So it caused the stock to pop and rally for 6%. I believe that there might be a continuation tomorrow. So that could be a good one for day traders. They can go in, capture the trade, and then walk away, right? Because what's going to happen here is that this Robinhood, it's was selling, selling, selling. And what did you do? It sold below the 50 SMA. And then what did you do? He put in this hammer candle, right? Bottoming tail candle, meaning that it's ready and this buying pressure is ready to reverse. It's a reversal confirmation, right? So what we need now is that we need this to hold and price to trade at least above this level. If it's able to do that, then we are going to get a push to the all-time highs and possibly make new all-time highs. So you want to be you can check this out if you're a day trader and you want to trade it. You can capitalize on the move as well and execute on it. Okay. So that's the key stocks I have here. There's also like AMD. And again, feel free to ask any questions, like type your questions there if you have a question or you need something that needs clarification. Don't be shy, type it in the live chat and I'll be happy to respond to it. So AMD has also been selling. AMD, AMD Zil. AMD has been selling. And it looks like it's going to get a continuation to the downside soon. Okay. So what I see for AMD is that AMD is coming into this gap fill. So what I like you to do, I want you to fill the gap quickly. Fill the gap. If we fill the gap here, if buyers step in and they try to reverse this, I'm going to look to go along, right? However, if it loses this level, 146, then the next area is that we're going to come here. That's the 100 SMA on the daily. But before then, we are going to come here first. We are going to fill the gap. There's a gap here that needs to be filled. Once it fills that gap, then it can make it to the downside. Okay. So that's what I'm going to be looking at for AMD. And yeah, it's not this candle is not looking good. It looks like we have more downside. We shall see how it plays out this week, and we are going to trade it accordingly. So for those that are still sitting on the sidelines and looking to sign up for the swing trading service, I'll put the link here in the chat quickly. And then if you want to sign up, you can sign up and join us so that we can make money together this week. So already the 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 members, I've already posted my top 3 trade ideas to them in the server already, in the portal, client portal, with a detailed trade plan. Whether we are going long, we are going short, everything is on there. So it gives the subscribers advance notice on what's about to happen. And then once it triggers and I use my money to buy, I alert it and they take the trade. Okay. And so far, we've been hitting bangers upon bangers, right? So it's all about you coming in and executing on the trade. Okay. And you are going to be provided with full guidance on what to do, when to sell, and stuff like that. And you have the support and resistance and profit targets so you can set alerts and execute on your own as well. Okay. So let me see if you have any questions. Feel free to put your questions in the chat, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you have. Don't be shy. No question is no question is like I don't no question is quote unquote a dumb question. You don't know, that's why you're asking. So if you have a question, feel free to ask. Don't be shy. Okay. Yeah. It's because you don't know, that's why you're asking. So don't feel shy at all. Yeah, so I'm excited for Monday to come. I'm fired up, ready to go. If you're fired up, ready to go, put fire in the chat. Put the word fire in the chat, signifying that you're fired up, ready to go. This is going to be a very interesting week here. I'm going to put the links for the weekly the swing trade service, and I'm going to explain what it is for those that haven't used it before. And also, if you are new to the channel, please do us a favor by subscribing to the channel, so that anytime I go live, you're going to get a live notification. And also hit the notification bell and hit the like if you learn something today. Hit the like button and let's help to grow this channel. And again, share the link with your friends and family that are interested in learning about investing, trading, and whatnot, so that they can also get the knowledge and get the information as well. Okay. So like so I posted the swing trading link here in the chat. I'm going to post the one for the day trading here quickly. I'm going to explain it, what what goes on in each trading session, and I'm going to show you some of the trades that we took and how those worked out really nicely. So I'm going to post the second. So the first link is the swing trading link, and the second link is the day trading link. Okay. All right. So I'm going to go to the site here and show you what the service is about. And then if you have any questions, feel free to ask. And yeah, and then we'll wrap up from there. Um, this promises to be an exciting trading week. and I want to make money with you guys. So let's trade together. Let's make some moolah together. Okay. So here I'm sharing, this is our website, tradingrich.com. So you come here, you click on courses. When you click on courses, you are going to see the weekly alert service. So this is the swing trading service. So every week I post my top 3 trade ideas. And those trade ideas, I don't share it on YouTube publicly. It's only for subscribers. And once with a full game plan of why we are taking the trade, what's the research behind it, why what are we buying calls, are we buying puts, are we what's the stop loss, what's our profit target, everything is laid out in the video, right? So that you take notes, you get ready and set your alerts ready. And then once the trade triggers, I take my money to purchase it, and then I alert it as well. And then you can follow trade alongside me, right? So here we have the weekly alert service. And this alert service, it's very no, it's a no-brainer, right? The alert service, what's the cost? First of all, what's the cost, right? The cost is only 47 USD per month, right? And here we offer you, this is the only service that offers 30-day money back guarantee. Like if after 30 days you're not making money, you let us know, you show us that you've taken the trade alerts that was sent to you in your DM or sent to you via text messaging and everything, then we can refund how much you paid for your subscription, right? And so here, this is $47 per month, and then you have the yearly one. So the yearly one is that's have more advantage because here you are getting 2 months free, and you are getting additional discount. So that's only $470 for the entire year, right? Most members, once they sign up, they make their um, annual membership uh, payment fee within the first rate. So it's as simple as that. So what does this entail? So this entails up to 3 expertly crafted options trade alerts per week, access to our swing trading calls, and then you have access to the video watch list that I've already mentioned earlier on, and the research behind it, the levels, the charts, every single thing. And every single week during the week, I tell you what position I'm still holding, whether I'm holding runners or I'm holding the full position. You get all that information as well. Okay. So that's the swing trading service. So the next one is the day trading service. So those that this for only serious folks that are looking to serious day traders, right? If you want to learn about day trading or you want to take your day trading to the next level, this is the service for you, right? So once you come in every single day at 8:45 a.m. Eastern, I go live with the subscribers, and then we go through the game plan, how we plan to make money. I provide the detailed game plan based on the price action. So we consider what happened at pre-market and all that good stuff. And then we draw a trade plan for long and short trade plan. And whichever one triggers, we go ahead and execute and profit from it. Right. So here with this one, this is for both options and futures traders. And this is 97 USD per month. And it's a no-brainer, right? Because the amount of value that you get from here, you should never get that anywhere, right? You're getting live screen share with explanation, detailed explanation of why we took a trade, why we sold here, why we're taking profit here, why we cut a loss here, all these kind of things, right? We capture everything there. Okay. And so this 97 USD per month, and then for the yearly subscription is 970 per year, which gives you 2 months free of charge for 2 months, right? Again, all these services have 90-day money back guarantee. If you come in, you take the trades and you didn't make money, let us know. We will refund your subscription fee. No questions asked, no problem, right? So here, I'll show you one of the trades that we took on Friday. So on Friday it was like it was just an outstanding trading day, right? For those that understand and those that are in the service and can execute, it was a fantastic day. So our trade of the day was Tesla. Our trade of the day at the beginning was Tesla, and then we also took QQQ puts or NQ short. So Tesla. So going into the market open, I told members that so this is my chart from Friday. I've not changed it. It's still there. So going into the day, I told members, okay, my main watch for the day was Tesla because I like the way it was setting up. So right out the gates, we waited. We took the first trade after the first 5 minutes candle close. So we were able to capture this move from here to there because he did a pullback. So let's show you here. Go the 2 minutes time frame. We got this was what he did was so at the open we got this bullish engulfing candle and then pulled back. So I told members don't chase the first candle because that's going to get you into trouble. So here once he pulled back, I entered the position and then I made members know that I'm entering the Tesla 350 calls expiring next week, right? And I personally took the same day expiry. I don't advise members to do that because that's risky, but I know the risk. I was willing to take on that risk and it worked out brilliantly. So from here, from this level to that level here, we took profit here because here this was a critical level, this area. So within the first 25 minutes, we're done with the long, done already. So it's like Friday, you won't go do other things. And then what happened was that the market started showing weakness and we started selling off. So over here, I also took another trade on what's it called on this I also took another trade on QQQ, but I did it using the NQ futures. And this trade here was a fantastic trade. So here, when we were in the live trade, I told members that if we trade crack below the 50 EMA on this 5 minutes period, they should short QQQ. First profit target will be here, this area, this level, 578. Second level is here. And then once we crack below pre-market low, all hell will break loose. We are going to go down. And guess what? Where did we come? We came all the way here. So this move from for futures traders from here, from this area to this area, not even the entire move, is for just one contract of the NQ mini is a $5,000 return on investment. Just one contract. If you have 10, that's 50,000. So that is why learning the skill and knowing what to do is very, very important. So if you want to trade with me live, you come in, sign up for the day trading service, which is Read Day Trades, and you can profit with us, right? And every single day we are taking trades, and I explain why we take the trades. I mean, not all trades is going to be green. Like, I mean, I'm not going to tell you that all my trades are green. I don't. Nobody does that, right? Every trader gets a red trade, but it's about closing the day green and most importantly, closing the month, the week green is more important than closing the day green. So if at the end of the week you close green, that's a plus. If at the end of the month you close green, that's the audit. That's the key. So what we are doing is that we are managing our risk and capitalizing on the gains. And then when we are winning, we want to win big. And when we are losing, we want to lose small in what is called a professional loss, which is already pre-planned that okay, if this does not work or this does not work out, I'm going to cut the trade here. So yeah, so that's about it, guys. So I hope this live stream was helpful. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Don't be shy. Um so going once, going twice. Let me see if I have any questions here. If I don't have, okay. So there are no questions here. So I believe that everybody is good. So if that's the case, then have a good night, guys. We shall, those that are part of our subscription service and mastermind group and stuff, we are going to trade tomorrow morning. For the day traders, for the swing, for the futures and options trader, we are going to trade tomorrow. And the swing traders, we are going to execute on the trade plan for the top three tickets that have been posted in the video. Okay. Bye-bye for now. Thank you for tuning in. And make sure you check and triple check that you are subscribed. If you're not subscribed, please do so. Hit the notification bell so that you can be notified every time, and hit the like button if you learned something today. Bye-bye. Have a good night. Have a great week, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.